Thank you. Well, Dad totally went out of order, so we're all over here trying to figure out what we're talking about next. We were here until 10:30 last night to go over the perfect order and how we're doing everything, and then as soon as he started talking about the road show, we're all like, what? Okay, so we're winging it at this point in time, but I think now we're on to Jumper's Entertainment, and that's my spot. So you might be a little confused because he's been talking a little about the production, but we haven't actually announced that yet. So that's my job to hopefully clear it up for a lot of you. I'm very excited to be here to tell you about our new company, Jumper's Entertainment, but I first want to give you a brief background on how we got to this point. I started racing Supercomp in 2002, and at the time I was also earning my bachelor's degree in radio, TV, film at Cal State Fullerton. So I wanted to put together a video for our race teams, but didn't quite know how. I had my mom's video camera and that was about it. So I met Josh Miller, he's over here. He had the ability to edit videos on his parents' home computer. So he helped me. We worked for probably a month, maybe a few weeks to a month, to put together a video. It was a mystery thriller, a 45-minute film about the disappearance of John Force, where we investigated other drivers and motives and everything. And it also included race footage from the 2003 season. And that was the first video and kind of the start to all of this. So we hired Josh shortly after that, and we eventually built an edit bay, which you'll see on your tour. But it wasn't only for the holiday JFR movies that we now do every year, but also to cut videos for sponsors, promos for events, and to record voiceovers. As a funny car driver, I try to tell people about what I do, but what we do, but as any of you who've ever been to an NHRA full throttle event know, it's very hard to explain to put into words an 8,000 horsepower fun car. So I've learned that if I can bring a short video with me to different events and things that I do, with music and footage and interviews, it really helps to explain what we do, and the fans always love it, and it gets the point across. So in 2006, we debuted our A&E reality show, Driving Force, and none of us realized what a hit it would be, not only with our race fans, but mainstream audiences as well. However, in March 2007, after our teammate Eric Medlin was killed in a testing accident, our filming stopped right there that day in Gainesville. And our priorities really changed. In the following months, we started up the Eric Medlin Project, based out of Brownsburg, Indiana, and really focused on safety, working with NHRA, working with Ford, so many people, just to try to see what we can do to make these cars safer. And we've made huge strides since then in safety, and we'll continue to do so with the Eric Medlin Project, as long as we're in racing. So it's been about 4 years since the reality show. I'm still getting my sanity back from it. I still have nightmares at times that there's a camera above my bed or wherever I'm at, but we feel that now's the time. We've taken a break from it, and we want to jump back into that world of entertainment. As race car drivers, our job's not just what happens on the track, but also off the track, promoting our sponsors and their products, engaging with the fans, hopefully giving the media something to write and talk about. And with Jumper's Entertainment, that's exactly what we're aiming to do. So, after a complete remodel, which was craziness this past month, we now, downstairs on your tour, you'll see we have a 50-seat theater with a stage, full production studios, sound rooms, and 6 editing bays. And we're working with, as Dad said earlier, longtime friend Rick Amara from the South Bay Studios, and also have our own projects that will be shot on this beautiful state-of-the-art red digital cinema camera we're so excited about. The creator is Jim Gennard, who was also the creator of Oakley. So it's really neat to be back involved with him, working with him, and Josh and me just love this camera. We're very excited to take it out and see what we can do filming race cars. So we also not only will do in-house stuff, but we're going to be renting the facility as well. It's located here in Orange County. Instead of companies having to travel all the way to LA, we're going to offer that as well. And so Craig Hosell, he's in here somewhere, I can't spot him, but he runs our museum, he runs our special events, and now he's going to be he's going to run that project of coordinating rental of the facility as well. So I'll quickly tell you about two projects that are going to be under the umbrella of Jumper's Entertainment that I'm immediately involved in, and that's, first is a children's book, which I've been working on for a lot of years. I grew up at the races. I was a drag racer's kid, so I thought it would be really fun to put together a book, an interactive book for kids that really teaches them about the sport, because it can get confusing. There's different categories, what's a crew chief, what's a Christmas tree? That's a tough one to explain to a little kid. And so this book is interactive. There's going to be pop-ups, there's going to be sounds, places for them to practice their autograph, and also it's going to be teaching them about the experience that they're going through as well. So that's the first project that we've been working on these last 2 years, and we're hoping to finally get finished this season. The second project, which is pretty cool, you can see this picture in front of me, is the John Force graphic novel, Destination Force. So I've often marveled at all that Dad has accomplished over the years, but really more importantly, what he's overcome over the years. And it has crossed my mind that he might have superhero powers. I think it's crossed a few of our minds. So in the graphic novel, John Force is an average man. However, when his car reaches a certain speed, he travels into space and alternate universes, and he's constantly battling villains and saving the world. So the fun part about this is that through each of the stories, we want a thread of truth. We're basing all the characters and all the storylines off real stories and people from Dad's past, so some of you might be in there. But it's been really fun in working in this project to go back in time with Dad. I've learned so much about him and in the funny and amazing situations that he's been in over the years, and to take that and kind of turn it and twist it and make it something a superhero would take part in. So we go back to his days in Bell Gardens when he first meets Mom. We write about that. We go back to his days in Australia, and those are just a few to name, but it's been pretty exciting. So I'd like to introduce some people that are here today that are working on this project with us. Our writers, if you guys want to stand up for a short moment. Jules Selvo, she's a professor at Cal State Fullerton, my college, and a screenwriter. She did Young Indiana Jones Chronicles with George Lucas and multiple Disney projects. And we have Bob Ingalls, and he's also a professor and a Golden Globe winner for his writing and producing the Twin Peaks TV series. And then our artist, Doug Searoyce, who created this exciting cover art right here, and all of you in a little bit will get in your press kits a special sample copy. We only made them for the group here, so it's kind of a unique gift that you guys will get that nobody else can get. So these are the people we've been working with these past few months. They know more about my family now than they probably ever wanted to. But it's been a lot of fun, and we're hoping this summer to put out our first episode, we call it, and hopefully it'll be followed by many more. And as Dad always says, he never lies, he just embellishes, and with the Destination Force, the more creative we can get, the better. So thank you. And so to kind of wrap up, I hope you guys enjoy the tour that you're going to take afterward. We've really come a long way from Josh's parents' computer. We now have completed 7 holiday films, which you're going to see on some of the edit bay screens as you walk through. I'm so sorry, Chad White, wherever you are. But you're in some of the videos. Alan Reinhardt, I dressed up as him and dressed up as Alan Reinhardt. Eric Medlin was Barbara Walters. Robert Height was Autumn Height as an adult. It's amazing what you can get people to do when you're the boss's kid, but we've had a lot of fun with the Christmas videos, so you can check out some of those. And you know, I'll get back to my point, I'm sorry, I was getting off. John Force Entertainment, it really fulfills a vision that Dad's had for years. He wants to build this company beyond just racing. He really wants to, bring unique exposure to the sponsors, excitement for the fans, and also now with this production studio to kind of bring Hollywood closer to home here in Orange County with these with the studio rentals and everything as well. So hopefully down the road we can expand the studio across the street. We're always looking at the next plan, the next step, and maybe even build the restaurant that Dad's always dreamed of. So I'll invite Brent's over here, Brent Travers. He was the producer of Driving Force. He's now come on board with us here at John Force Racing. He'll tell you a little more about some of the other projects within John Force Entertainment, and thank you for your time.
Hi, good morning. I'm Brent Travers, and 6 years ago I had the opportunity to meet the forces here and to explore the idea of doing a documentary series together, and from there we went on to do Driving Force successfully for A&E. Since then I've learned of Ashley's love for film, and I saw within her this deeply inspired person, a person so creative and with great natural instincts. So when I was approached by John and Ashley and joining them in December, I decided to help out. And for those of you who know John personally, I really didn't have any option but to join them. I'd like to take just a few minutes to highlight some of the very exciting initiatives that we're going to be doing here at John Force Entertainment, already underway. First is a John Force biopic. And if you know anything about John, you know he wasn't born with anything that you see around you today. He came from a family who migrated here from the Dust Bowl during the Great Depression. He struggled with polio in his leg, and throughout his youth overcame what would be insurmountable odds for anybody else. He pursued his dream and has built his championship organization. When you think of movies like Rudy, The Blind Side, Seabiscuit, it leaves little doubt in my mind that we have a truly inspirational story to tell. And currently we are in the final stages of selecting from a small group of produced Hollywood screenwriters, and we will have that announcement shortly in the coming months. The next thing, this is a question I get asked all the time for the last 4 years: are we coming back with Driving Force 2? We are not. That is the answer. However, we have to pick it up again, somewhere, somehow. What we're going to do is we're not going to tell the same story, but we're going to return to the Forces by focusing on Courtney Force as she evolves her career. And you'll be hearing more about that later in this presentation. You've heard a lot about the production studios that we have here, but for a championship team that has always been on the forefront of technology, it seems particularly fitting that John Force surrounds himself with only the best cutting-edge technology in the field of entertainment. John Force Entertainment will be using red digital cameras developed by Jim Gennard. To give you a little background on this camera, it's the same camera technology, if you can see up on the screen over there, that they've shot Pirates of the Caribbean, Che, ER, Social Network, which I think was just nominated this morning for an Academy Award, and The Hobbit, and many others using this in Hollywood. Next up is John Force's biography. I'd like to take a second. Walker, where are you at? Walker Force, please stand up. Walker is John Force's brother. Walker has spent the last 3 years chronicling the life of John Force on and off the track. It should be pointed out that most of this time was spent locked in a car with John as he drove him around. And so for that, a very special medal should go here. And we've started discussing this with publishing houses in New York to bring this book to you in the very near future. The next thing, and I think this is, again, indicative of what John Force does, is we're going to be going mobile. We're going to be beginning development of a mobile phone app for the iPhone and Android phone systems that will provide race fans with news, highlights, race results, sound and video clips, and will be a gateway for all of John Force Racing sponsors. Additionally, with more gaming coming in the form of a mobile platform, we will be working with top game developers this year to design a smartphone game featuring John Force Racing. And in closing, as you tour this facility, as Ashley mentioned, John Force Production Studios is a full production center. From shoot to post-production, you can do it all right here. It will be an opportunity to provide present and future sponsors with the same level of quality, but at a price that they would never expect. We invite you all to take a look around, and please stop us and ask any questions. And I'm not sure who's next now after we want to, Ashley, come on.
Said earlier, it's really all about the people that you surround yourself with. So I'm very lucky with the people that I get to be working with in John Force Entertainment. I think we have a lot of fun things in store for our fans and the racing world. So changing gears a little bit, ever since my husband Dan and I got married back in 2008, I've been asked if and when I will start a family. And they asked me that probably as much, if not more, than they asked me what it's like to go 300 miles an hour. I don't know why, but obviously the two do not go hand in hand very well together. And Dan and I knew someday we'd have to sit down and have a little powwow and make some decisions. I have a lot of young children for fans, and over time, recently, it's kind of gotten a little bit harder to, after taking pictures with little babies and young kids, to hand them back to the parents. Just want to keep them. So this past November, after one of the most exciting world finals of my life, watching Dad clinch his 15th championship, Dan and I thought, we'll give it a try. We'll see what happens in this off season. We would try to start a family. So we knew it probably was unlikely to happen in such a short amount of time, and if not, I could start the 2011 season and maybe we'd try again next winter. So we said, you know, if God wanted it to happen, if it was meant to be, then God will make it happen. And God didn't waste any time, so I am pregnant, and I'm going to be bringing a new NHRA race fan into the world at the end of the summer. broke the news to my team this morning, and it is a very awkward situation to face a television conference with, 9, 10 guys that you lived with for the last 5 years, and I think some of them forget that I am a girl, so that made it really awkward to remind them. But Dan and I know that there's always a risk at the beginning of pregnancy, so we really waited as long as we possibly could to say anything, just to make sure everything was going all right, nothing happened. But obviously we've run out of time, and there's a lot of things to be done, and teams and cars to get ready, so we felt, this was the time to finally let people know. So I will be taking off this season, but I still represent Castrol and Ford and Auto Club, Brand Source, Mac Tools, and Oakley, and all of our sponsors, and we'll still be involved in media, commercials, and interviews, and I definitely will be rooting all my teammates on for the 2011 season. I don't know why my D team can't win Indy for the 3rd year straight, even if I'm somewhere off in labor while they're doing it, but I'm very excited, and excited for my younger sister Courtney as well to begin testing and preparing and getting herself ready for a move to the funny car class. I'm going to be very interested to see how she deals with Dad, and I have already told her that 8,000 horsepower funny car will be cake compared to dealing with Dad, so she's ready. But I will now bring Dad back up on stage, and he can now give you our plan B for the 2011 race season.